There's no magic out there for weed control. And this guru sign on here, yeah, sure, I know a lot about weeds, but there's no magic out there. We've done just about everything you can think of to a weed. We burn them, we mow them, we spray them, we dig them out. So, with that, you explore control options: cultural, mechanical, herbicide, biocontrol. It's all out there. Knowing the plant, knowing where you are, and designing a strategy to control it is really, central to good weed control, and that being persistent. No matter how good you aren't going to get all of them. Most important one, the easiest one to get back to is prevention, cultural methods. Line your lawn, fertilize your lawn, aerate your lawn. Good, healthy lawns are like good, healthy pastures. They don't have weeds. You don't have to go out and use weed feed and spray them and that sort of thing if you've got a good, healthy lawn going. One of the problems that is happening now is in all the new developments, they go in and scrape off all the topsoil, put it off in a pile somewhere, put it all back on about 4 inches thick, and then roll a lawn out on top of it. This is not what one would consider a healthy lawn in the long run. You're going to wind up with a lot of issues with that because it's quick and easy, doesn't develop good grass. The bright side, kind of keep track of ones that interest you, is there's a website that the state's got that is on most of this information. There's a county website. Go to us, Google noxious weeds for the county. The website address is about 2 feet long. And it will give you a link to the state website. It will also talk about our program, what our priorities are. 15-year seed bank. So it goes to seed, you've got 15 years of tansy ragwort to get you. And when it goes to seed, 150,000 seeds per plant. So that's why we run around this time of the year clipping their little heads off and putting them in the garden, which is the control method that I will recommend right now if you find it. That clip the heads off, put them in the, bag them up, put them in the garbage, and pull the plant. It's dead at that point. It's biennial, so it's going to die anyway. But when it's developing flowers and everything, the roots are relaxing, actually starting to atrophy a little bit. It's on the way out. Pull that plant. It's dead. If you don't pull that plant, the roots go, wait a minute, where'd those flowers go? And the whole process starts over. The vinegar products are good as burners. They will burn the tops of the plants off, but unless you get an awful lot of it down in the root zone, like using blackberry and brush blocker, I believe is one of them that's out there, basically acts as a soil sterilant when you put it on as directed. You need to put in lime afterwards to get anything to grow there. The toxicology on Roundup is really good. When I say Roundup or I say glyphosate, I don't want you using whatever their extended one is that'll keep things dead forever, or at least through a season. I don't want you using their brush killer that they're calling Roundup. Roundup has become a trademark, has become something we're all familiar with, and a lot of us are really comfortable with glyphosate. We may not be comfortable with glyphosate plus the other additives that they're putting in with it to make it extended or make it kill brush. Roundup works fairly well on brush in the fall, just the glyphosate portion. But to get it to work all the time, what they've done is they've basically turned it into glyphosate with triclopyr in it, which has become really close to crossbreed. As far as toxicity goes on it, very, very, very low. Far less than table salt, far less than coffee. The toxicity is just really low. If anybody really wants to look into glyphosate toxicity, exposure, risk assessments, WSU, the guy's name is Alan Felsot. He's a toxicologist. If you Google him, you will, there'll be an article that comes up that's called Giddy About Glyphosate. Even where I'm using these products quite a bit, my exposure level is really low because of the way we use it. and you start getting further and further and further away from it. It just, from what everything I know, it's not really an issue. And we all hope that Monsanto is fine. You know, I mean, it's what it gets down to. With glyphosate, it's the most widely used herbicide in the world, and we hope that it's a good one. You know, there's only so much. You know, you have a lot of trust out there, but with it being as widely used as it is, in small amounts that we're going to use ever, it is a drop in the bucket compared to probably what goes on in one of these big orange fields you see out there. Hollow stems, huge, deeply cut leaves. It is just something that attracts children. If you are aware of giant hogweed, have giant hogweed, know somebody that has giant hogweed, please let us know and we will come out and deal with the plant. And we're pretty open. We can either dig it up for you, or we can spray it, or we can do this really cool thing. We can inject it. So you got this giant 16-foot tall plant. You give it one shot of a 5% Roundup solution, this plant just up and dies. 5 cc's into this plant, a fraction of what we would spray the whole thing with, injecting it, the plant's dead. So if you're aware of giant hogweed in any form way, let me know about it. Now, there's a look-alike out there though. It's cow parsley. And if you drive down around Langus Park, in that area down in there, you'll see a lot of these plants. They'll be 7 or 8 feet tall, nice umbel flower about this big on it. Similar to cow parsnip, or similar to giant hogweed. Giant hogweed's cow parsnip on steroids. Broadleaf selective will only kill broadleaf plants. They don't kill grasses. You go to Roundup, and it kills everything. You know, so you're going to go out there in your thistle patch, yeah, it will kill your thistle if you use it in the fall. And that's kind of a big thing about these perennials. Roundup works best in the fall on perennials. But you'll also kill all the grass underneath. And I drive around and I see Roundup getting used in very inappropriate, where you've got 500 feet of some driveway they've taken 4 feet out on both sides of it. So they open this ground up, and what do weeds thrive on? Disturbance. And you've just provided the disturbance that weeds love. So the next year what you're going to have is no grass, and this huge bunch of broadleaf weeds out. I'm a big fan of broadleaf selective herbicides if you want to save your grasses, because Roundup is just going to kill it and provide that spot for weeds to grow the next year. Go underneath your bull thistle with a shovel, 2-3 inches below the ground, cut that taproot, pop the plant out of the ground, it's dead. So bull thistle is one of them that we don't like it, but it isn't that hard to get rid of. Fennel, Queen Anne's lace, Angelica, a lot of lookalikes out there. Poison hemlock has got purple mottling in the stem, 10 feet tall at most. Nice umbel white flowers all over it, and it is one of them that is all over the county. This year, it's all of a sudden become really obvious we've lost control